Please everyone share about yourself, like you're a practicing architect or you're a student or you are looking for to write your paper in the on this topic. Is there anyone who is a practicing architect or an architecture student?
Hi,
Hello.
I'm architect Ruchita,
Hello
and
Ruchita, welcome to the session.
thank you. I'm a practicing architect.
Okay.
Okay.
So whenever you design any space, how do you see that space? What is your perspective while designing a space? What are the things that you consider?
While designing a space, basically, I take into considerations the requirements the client has. That's the
Okay.
basic thing I take into consideration because if we don't fulfill their requirements, the client will never be satisfied, right?
Okay, that is toward functionality. Like we keep the number of rooms according to the client, how they
Hmm.
want the space, like a open floor plan.
Hmm.
Okay. Other than that, what do you do? Like while planning a space, how do you keep the room sizes? How do you decide the layout of the room, the position of window? Are
That's
these
as
stuff?
yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely. We decide all these things.
yeah, we do decide all these things, but then this is like the keeping the size of the opening and room sizes all differ from client to client also, right?
Yeah.
And taking care of climatology is an important part while designing.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely when a client comes to you, you somewhere or the other understand his psychology also along with that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. And what about others?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
This is Kinjal, and I have been an architecture student, but I dropped architecture, and currently I'm pursuing psychology. So, yes.
Okay, so psychology, a proper psychology course, just that one.
Yes.
Okay, okay, that's great. So, what
So both architecture and psychology provide me a independent thinking platform where I have my own kind of thinking. Obviously, both are dependent on client. Even psychology is dependent on your patient and architecture is dependent on your client. So a dependency is there for sure, but at the same time it helps you to look at the dependency in your own creative way rather than just doing as it is. So for me, it has been giving me a creative space, and architecture has helped me a lot to understand human psyche and vice versa as well.
okay, that's great. That's great. So, I think let's start the session. So, before we start the session, I want to share some of my viewpoint. Like when we talk about psychology, okay, we counter the very basic term that is emotion. When we talk about psychology, we basically talk about emotions, like how do you feel or how do you experience a place, okay, after visiting a certain building or certain town, how do you feel? And even when we talk about person to person, like some people have a very good vibe, some people have negative vibe, okay, this kind of vibe we generally got. Similarly, the space in which we are living, okay, the light, the window, the um, height of the building, okay, subconsciously they are designing your mind, they are influencing your mind, but we are not conscious, okay. The air in which we are breathing, okay, it is affecting our lungs, definitely, okay. Similarly, the buildings that we are surrounding by the such buildings, they are subconsciously affecting our brain, okay. So now the thing is that how they are related. Why a building can have a strong influence on you. Can a building make you feel sick? Or can a space can make you feel more alive, healthy, mentally happy? Can you say like a building can
Yes.
make you happy?
Yes.
Okay, so can you share your experience like in which condition a building makes you happy?
So it's the energy and the vibe of the place. First of all, the land where it is made. It's the
Yeah.
surround and the colors which are used in the interiors, the fabrics, the colors, whatever are used in the interiors make uh,
Yes, definitely.
yeah.
Colors affect us a lot because they have a great visual balance. Like whenever we see a building, the very first thing that we see in a building, that is the surface finish. Okay, like is it there is a cladding or a tile? It is gloss, matte. Okay, it is which color it is. It is a warm color. It is a cool color. It is a dark color. It is a light color. Okay, so color have a lot of weightage on when we talk about visuals. Okay, and second thing, the light. When we talk about interior, we talk about two things, light and color. Okay, light and color affects us a lot. Okay, they are the soul of interior. So when we talk about interior, light and color. So when a room is lit very dim, okay, it is not very harsh, you feel cozy, you feel like that you want to sleep. But when a room is lit in a very high intensity light, like a pure white light, okay, sometimes it um, disturb you. Your eyes do not feel comfortable in a pure white light. But when we talk about warm light or a off white light, okay, it makes you feel comfortable. It makes you feel cozy. Even with the help of color of light, we can define the temperature of a room. If a room is lit in a very yellow color or very warm color, certainly you will feel little bit hot in that room. Okay, so these are about interiors. But when we talk about exterior, since we are talking about architecture, so we are going to talk majorly on buildings, like the form and the shape of the building. Okay, we are going to talk about the facade, we are going to talk about the structure of a building in this session. Okay, so when we talk about a building, let's take an example. Mm, let's take any random building from uh, internet. Okay. So when you see such kind of buildings, for example, like this, there are so many colors, there are repetition of arch. What are the other things that you can observe in this picture? What are the things that you see? And how does it makes you feel if you visit such kind of place?
I feel depth perception has been used very beautifully over here, and at the
Okay.
same time, it gives you a lot of idea that a lot of detailing has been done, and at the same time, it is also making you feel giving a kind of royal, vibrant, and vibes which speak about your heritage and about our roots.
Yeah, definitely. We can talk a lot about culture with respect to this picture because of its carving, its color. Okay. So along with this, I can see one more proportion. Yes. Yes, Sonika?
So here, I can feel a lot of light and the height of the building. There is the
Yeah,
height of the
definitely.
structure itself, and with all the repetitive things and the details, it makes me feel like really happy, lively, and you can also feel the richness in this, and like you want to get walk here and get lost here.
Yeah, definitely. And anyone else wanna share
It
anything?
creates a optical illusion. So it's basically working on the length illusion. it just create this place is creating a length illusion, which basically widens creates a depth.
Okay. So very first thing, we can see a principle of design that is called rhythm. Can you see a rhythm in this picture? Like when we repeat any element, we got a rhythm. We got a sensation of movement, a flow. Very first thing that we can see, if I see this picture, okay, then we will see the proportion, like the width of the corridor along with the height of the ceiling. Okay, it is a very very important proportion. Okay, it is a corridor, it is very elongated, but it is giving you a feeling of richness with the help of color. Okay, we are getting lots of natural light from the surrounding. That's where this corridor is looking very lively. Now imagine if this corridor do not have any natural light, will the experience remain same or it will got change if I just eliminate the natural lighting and the natural air that we are getting right now?
It will definitely change, ma'am. The lighting is the main aspect that's making this whole space
Yeah, right
how
now. Yeah. So
yeah.
right now this corridor is open from both the sides. That is why it is looking very eerie. It is looking very open. Okay. As soon as you built wall on both side, okay, you are not receiving any natural light. You feel lost. Okay. You feel disconnected with the outside. Okay. So this the same place will make you feel more suffocating. You will feel more suffocating, more compressed. You will feel like this place is compressing your body. Okay, between two walls your body is compressing. As soon as we built two solid brick wall on both the side, left hand side and right hand side. Okay, now let's see some more buildings. Mm, like when we see Taj Mahal. So Taj Mahal is very very famous in terms of its proportion, geometry. Like if you studied architecture, so we studied Taj Mahal in history of architecture. We studied about its geometry. It is symmetrical. Okay, so can you give me some words for this building, like any kind of emotion, any experience? How do you feel if you see such kind of perfect structure? You do not feel anything like have you ever visited Taj Mahal? Okay, so let's talk about another building, that is. So when you see such kind of buildings, can you have any emotion for these? Like, how do you feel if you found these kind of buildings in your surrounding? Is it normal to you? Like if you see these kind of buildings, or is it giving you some other vibe? Anyone can say. So let's say, like, is it looking stable or unstable? Can anyone answer me?
This looks unstable basically. And when I personally will see this, I'll say ki I have a feeling of like when will the building fall down? Your
Yeah.
fear to
Yes.
go near to it, right?
Definitely, since the base is narrow as compared to the top. Okay,
Yeah.
so we got a feeling like the bottom portion is much compressed. It is taking the load of the whole building. Okay, the building might got fallen. So these kind of emotions you got when you see such kind of structure, which is very narrow from the bottom and wide from the top. Okay, and there are some more buildings like buildings like this. You see these kind of structures, very strong geometry, which represent a strong geometry. Do you got a feeling of toughness or very strong? Like if you see the structure of the building and the material,
Say whatever, it will stand still.
yeah, because we are getting a feeling of stability because of its structure, its form. Okay, okay. So let's come back to our PPT. So whenever we see a building, why do we got such kind of emotions? Why architecture and psychology is related? If you see a building with a grand entrance, for example, right? If you see a building with these kind of like these kind of staircase, if you see these kind of staircase, what do you imagine about this building? Only by watching the staircase. Just speak. Can you assume something about the scale of the building by looking the staircase? Can you assume something about the scale of the building? Like it is a huge villa, huge bungalow, or it is a big building. So whenever we see a staircase of any building, we can assume the size of the building, like the floor height. Okay, like if a building having a square staircase of 4 meter, okay, 4 meter or 5 meter, we can definitely say like it is a public building. Okay, because there are some standards that we follow for public building and for residential building. Generally in residential building, we have a staircase of 1 meter and 1.2 meter. This is the width of the staircase that we keep. Okay, but as soon as we came to public staircase, we can keep it 2 meter, 5 meter, 6 meter. It depends. Okay, so one more picture I have. Mm. Okay, let's come back. So now we can say that whenever we see a building, okay, the very first thing that we the colors, okay, the structure of the building, like how tall it is, how short it is. Okay, so whenever we see any building in terms of massing, we compare the massing of the building with respect to human body. The very first thing. Okay, if you are visiting a parliament house, definitely the building makes you feel very grand, very large. Okay, because it is very big structure. But on the other hand side, if you are visiting a hut or a normal house which is only up to ground floor, or a kacha ghar. That is a vernacular, in vernacular architecture we have kacha ghar. Okay, you will feel very normal. Okay, because the structure is small is as compared to a parliament house. Okay, so that's why whenever we see a building, very first thing we compare it with ourselves, then the visual thing like the color, lighting. Okay, so these are the things that affect us. That is why human psychology and architecture are interlinked. Now let's see how built environment influence human psychology. Okay, so we have seen like psychology and architecture are connected because it is giving us multiple thoughts, multiple emotions. Okay, just with the help of the built environment, like lighting, scale of the building, the proportion of the building, like the width and height of corridor, as we have seen. Okay, so now imagine if you are visiting a construction site, under construction site in the night time, how you will feel over there. It's an under construction site and you are visiting that place. How you will feel?
Not very pleasant, uncomfortable,
Yes, unsafe?
unsafe. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We will feel these kind of things. Okay, similarly, now if you imagine a city, like we have a city. This is our illustration in which we can see multiple buildings. So when we talk about cities or countries like Dubai, Europe, which are well developed, how do you imagine yourself at over their place? Do you feel different on those places as compared to your current location? As soon as we change the building type, the atmosphere, do your experience got changed? Like you're walking on the street of Paris, imagine. Like if you're walking on the street of the Paris, you can see postmodern buildings, some historical buildings made up of stone.
Definitely
Let's see
there.
one more. Yeah, the street are very clean, so you will feel very good in yourself. Okay. Now imagine if you're walking in a slum area. You're seeing very inadequate development, very shabby place. Okay, the road are filled with garbage along with waters. Okay, there is very poor sanitization system. Okay. So how you will feel while visiting a slum area?
Not a good feeling.
You will feel unpleasant,
Unpleasant.
disappointed, might be upset
Hmm.
because of poor development. Okay. Now there are two things in a building, that is the plan and the section of a building. Whenever we do planning, okay, we imagine the circulation, the furniture layout, okay. But when a layman came to the site, like after completion of the construction, when any guest came to your house, they judge your building by its elevation, isn't it? Like whenever you see any building, generally we judge a building by its elevation. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, because we appreciate the outer beauty. Okay. But a building should be judged by its planning, like how the things are placed, how the circulation had been designed. Okay. We cannot see the plan of a building but after the completion. Like we will not see the top view while removing the roof part. It is not possible. But we experience the planning. When we move inside the building, we experience the planning, how we are moving from bedroom to kitchen, from kitchen to living room, and what is the placement of the toilet. Okay, so we experience the plan while moving into the whole building. But when we talk about the section and elevation, if you're sitting still at any point in the room, you can experience the section, like the what kind of roof it have. Okay, what is the height of window, what is the height of door, what is the height of ceiling. You can experience it. Okay, just sitting still at any point. Okay, so these two things are different. After doing planning, we can modify the section as we want. Like if you want flat roof, if you want a dome over a roof, okay, or if you want a gable roof, what kind of view you want from inside the building, we can decide these things. Now there are some dimensions. Like I would like to know, what is the purpose of a good architecture? What do a good architect do? Like we all are architects over here. So I would like to know, what do we do? Do we just simply design the places? Or there are some parameters that we keep in our mind while designing a building. Like you might heard like healing architecture or storytelling architecture. Can you define any story with the help of architecture only? Can you make a patient feel more comfortable and make it and help her to heal more betterly, like in less time? Can an architect do these things?
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Definitely. And how you can do?
Um, by like by considering how that person would feel in that space, be it like the height of the room or like from where the light is coming and ventilation and the colors that we use in that room.
Yeah, definitely. So there are some parameters like physical and psychological. Okay, there are two parameters. We can make someone to feel physically well. When we talk about physically, we can consider such factors like interior. Okay, we can design an interior which is less maintained, उसको कम maintenance लगती है. Okay, we can design a good ventilation system, good airflow like HVAC system. Okay, good material selection according to his or her choice. Okay, so that he or she may feel more connected to that place. Okay, we can also make a building thermal insulation. Okay, such kind of factors we can work so that his body should feel comfortable in that building. Okay, first of all we consider the physical thing, then we can talk on the psychological factor, like how a person will feel mentally well over that play over their place. Okay, now imagine right now you're sitting in your room. Okay, and just imagine that there is no window in your room. You are not getting any view of the outside your room. How you will feel in that room? And you're sitting in that room for the whole day if there is no window.
Will feel depressive.
Why we are feeling depressing if we don't have any window? Because somewhere else you got disconnected from the outside world. You don't know
Yeah,
whether it is a day or night, whether
yeah,
it is rainy or it is a sunny day. You're
yeah.
not able to connect with the nature, and nature is a healing factor in human life. Okay, nature makes you heal better and in a less time. Okay, so daylighting is very important. Whenever we design any space, we talk about the daylighting. There should be proper daylighting in a room. Okay, like in major areas like in kitchen, in drawing room, and in your bedroom. Okay, we must receive daylight. Then sunlight penetration. There are sunlight have a very important role in our life. Like with the help of sunlight you can kill many germs. Like if your room is not receiving sunlight, then there are the chances that you will got a fungal infection. It happens many people with many peoples. Okay, so there should be sunlight. If I am designing a patient room or a senior citizen room, I will ensure that he or she is receiving sunlight in his room. Okay, so that they can feel the sun. Then window view. For example, if you're living in such a area where on the one hand side of your building is the slum area. Okay, so definitely we will not provide window over there, because we don't want to see such kind of shabby area which is totally unhygienic and not appropriate for you. Okay, but on the other hand side, if you have a garden view, definitely we will provide window in such areas from where you can got a good view of nature or road or any street or any good area. Okay, so window view is very important. Then social space. When we talk about public spaces, we design public plaza where people can meet, people can gather, and they can share their views, so that they can stay connected mentally with people. Okay, then acoustic, like it is a very common mistake done by many people, that when they design staircase tower, okay, in staircase tower the voice got echo. You will feel the echo in the staircase area because of no window in the staircase area. It might be very closed. Okay, so make sure your design do not have such kind of acoustic errors. Okay, that also affects you, like if you're talking on the first floor and you're audible up to the third floor, then it is a architecture mistake. Okay, so now let's talk about the form. Now imagine the room in which you are sitting right now, its form got changed. Now it is a spherical room, or the shape of the floor got changed. It is turned into the circle. Can you feel the difference? Right now the floor plan is circular of your room, current room. Can you feel the difference in the furniture layout, in your movement, in your comfort, as soon as I change the shape of your room? Can you feel the change?
There will be change definitely.
There will be,
Change definitely.
yeah, there will be change definitely. Okay, so there are two things, form and space. Okay, form is the thing that is visible from the outside. ठीक है, हम बिल्डिंग के बाहर से जो चीज देखते हैं, whether it is rectangle or it is circular, okay, that is the form. Like we had seen this building. Okay, we see over here the form. Okay, this is called form of the building. ठीक है, like if we see buildings like Zaha Hadid. Okay, if we see such kind of buildings, how do you feel? If you see curved building, smooth building, or parametric buildings, how do you feel? Are they different from the regular rectangular boxes?
I feel overwhelming.
You feel
Overwhelming.
overwhelming. Okay, there is a thing in architecture that's called symbolism. Okay, there is a thing that's called symbolism. Like if you want to depict any flower, okay, anything. Like if you see through this building, you can see that butterfly, the depiction of butterfly. Okay, the depiction of lotus flower. Okay, so with the help of form, you got exterior view. Okay, you got a feeling that you want to create it. Like for example, in Lotus Temple. Okay, so it is a spiritual center. Okay. Now there is a building, falling water. Okay, this building have the theory of strong horizontal line. Can you see the strong horizontal line in this picture? Strong horizontal line in this building you can see. And these strong horizontal line give you a feeling of stability. This geometry is very strong. It is okay. Let's come back to the point. So whenever we see a buildings in the form of cuboid, okay, we felt more discipline. Okay, the strong lines. Okay, these strong edges give you the feeling of stability. Okay, discipline. But when we see the curves, okay, like Zaha Hadid and all these kind of buildings, we got a feeling of relaxation. The curves, edges or the curve form give you the feeling of relaxation. Okay, so when we talk about circle, okay, circle have the tendency like it have a center point. Okay, if you are um, circulating in a circular space, you will circulate like this. Okay, but when we talk about the square or rectangular buildings, okay, so how you will circulate in this building? Here, like this and this. Okay, so when you are moving into a circular space, you will change your direction constantly. ठीक है, आप जब इसमें मूवमेंट करोगे you will move along this center. ठीक है, like this. Okay, but as soon as it comes and the space got changed into the square or rectangular, how you will circulate? You will go straight, then you have to move 90-degree. Okay, you have to change the direction of your path, then again you have to change the direction of your path, then again, and then you will exit. Okay, so circles are more smooth, so they do not makes you feel like you are walking for a long time. Okay, but these spaces makes you feel more tired, like square and rectangle makes you feel tired, like you have to change the direction of your body to 90-degree. Okay, that's why these space makes you feel more tired. Okay, there is one more example of the circular dining table and the rectangular dining table. Okay, we know in rectangular dining table, the person who is sitting on the shorter side is the head of the table or the head of the member. But in circle it is not like this, that everyone is equal on a circular dining table. Okay, so these are the theories behind curve and straight line. Okay, now there are some characteristic of form. Whenever we see any building, the very first thing we see the shape. Okay, we see the shape of the building, then we see the massing and the size, how big it is. Okay, how multiple shapes are combined. Okay, then we see the colors, like when we talk about the warm colors, okay, red color, yellow color, orange color, they have the greater wavelength, that's why they are visible from the very far distance. ठीक है, बिल्डिंग हमें दूर से दिख जाती है because of its color, red, yellow and orange. Okay, but when we talk about the cool colors, they are cool, they got merged in the sky is blue. And when we talk about the cool colors like the shade of blue, they got merged in the nature. Okay, similarly texture, if a surface is smooth, okay, like in bungalows, okay, the surface is smooth, it is painted in white color, cream color, okay, that building will definitely give you the feeling of calmness, smooth, royalty. Okay, but on the other hand side, textures like exposed brickwork, exposed concrete work, or brick cladding, stone cladding, okay, they are very harsh surfaces that you don't want to feel the surface. आप उस wall को touch करना नहीं चाहोगे, you will not feel like you want to touch that wall. Okay, since it is very rough. Okay, and with the help of these textures we can also convey some kind of emotions. Okay, then position, like how group of buildings are placed. Okay, Like it could be balcony also, how multiple balconies are planned one over the other. Okay, then orientation of the building could be decided according to vastu, according to climatology, according to the development program or the main road. We can change the orientation of a building. Then view inherited. Okay, like this is your road and this is your site. Okay, so if you are approaching to the site like this, okay, then what kind of view you are getting? If you are approaching from this side, then what kind of view you are getting? When we do site analysis in our college, we do these things like viewpoint, कि हमें किस साइड से ज़्यादा अच्छा व्यू मिलेगा. Then we focus on that side and we design a good facade over there. Okay, and we change the orientation of the building with the help of view inherited. There are some buildings. Okay, right now I don't have any examples, but okay, there are some buildings like it is building. Okay, the entrance will be here and the entrance from the main road will be like this. Okay, just to create the curiosity. Okay, just to create the curiosity or make people to move from this place to this place along the path, we can create such kind of designs. Then we have another topic, that is transformation of form. Like we know some basic forms: sphere, cylindrical, cone, cube. Okay, now how we can transform them? The very first thing, that is the dimensional form. Okay, in dimensional form, what we do, we keep the form as it is. We just play with a particular edge. Okay, like here, like we just stretch. Okay, हमने इस edge को stretch कर दिया. Okay, this is called dimensional transformation. Then we have subtractive transformation from a big mass. If you see in this picture, from a big mass, okay, we just eliminating some part. Like there is a game like Zynga. Have you played the game Zynga? Okay, we are eliminating some block. So that is called subtractive form. With the help of subtracting form, you can create some spaces which are more open, more breathable, okay, more connected to the nature. We can create, and they will look more fragile also. Then we have additive form. Okay, in a particular form, we just add some elements. For example, balcony in this picture. Okay. Then we have form defined space. So we had seen a building from outside, from its form, but every form encloses a particular space. Okay, and that space, the space in which you are sitting, is enclosed by a form. And in this space, we have two elements: the horizontal element and the vertical element. Horizontal elements are floor and ceiling. We also call them base plane. Okay, base plane, that is the floor, and the overhead plane, that is the ceiling. Then we have four vertical walls, that is called vertical planes. Okay. Now let's understand. Now, how do we enter in a building or enter inside a room? Okay, it affects a lot. It totally changes your perspective or your perception got changed for the room. The impression that you got from the room will got changed. Right now, imagine in your room, if we shift the position of the door, right now the door might be in the center or it could be in the corner. Now imagine as soon as you change the position of your door in your room, will your perception for the room will remain the same or it will get changed? What are the things that will change as soon as you change the position of door? As you can see in this picture, if you are entering in a room, in a rectangular room, from the longest side and from the center, then we will counter this front wall. Okay, this front wall. But in the same room, if you are entering from the shortest side, okay, the same room will make you feel like a corridor. It will feel like you're walking in a corridor if it is a very elongated room, okay, and you're entering from the center of the room. It will feel like a elongated room. That's why there are some cases that you got very elongated plot, like 20 by 60 feet. That is the size of the plot, okay. And in these plot area size, we got these kind of rooms like a dining, kitchen, and living. When we talk about the open floor plan, okay, हमें बहुत ज़्यादा elongated space मिलता है. Okay, so while designing rooms, avoid these kind of elongated rooms. Okay, either you can introduce some partition wall or some change in level or some color difference so that the room may not feel very elongated. Separate the room in two different parts, either with the help of wall or anything. Okay, now we have pentagon. Okay, so as you can see in this picture, the same pentagon, like a human being can fit inside a pentagon. Okay, so when we are entering a pentagon from this side, okay, you will see the wall, the perspective like this. The wall are getting narrow. Okay, wall are meeting at an angle, and the space is getting narrow from the ending. Okay, but when you enter into a room from this side, okay, from over here, then you will encounter a plain wall. Okay, so when a space is getting narrow, okay, um, in this picture, like the space is getting narrow in the perspective you can see, okay, so it is not more inviting, okay, so that is why it is a devil side. Let's see the example of auditorium. When we design auditorium, we talk about the fan shape auditorium or the wedge shape auditorium, okay. So we can design auditorium in both the shapes, this one and this one. But why we are doing this practice, why we are creating these kind of auditorium? Why fan shape is the best shape for auditorium?
I think for sound, mom.
For acoustic, definitely. For technical purpose, this is a good shape. It has a center viewpoint. Okay. But when if you see this space is wide from opening, okay, wide from the entrance area and narrow from the end. Okay. So now imagine if 20 people are entering together inside inside this hall. Okay. So the entrance is great. They can easily enter. But as soon as they are moving forward, okay, they are moving forward, then what will happen? The space will start getting narrow. People will not prefer to go up to the ending. So that's why it is not inviting. It is initiation because it is restricting. This area is restricting people to go furthermore. But when we talk about this layout, okay, we have a stage and we can have multiple seatings over here. Okay, the entrance is narrow, but the ending is wide. Okay, extension of access by invitation so that greatest number of people may come closer to the focal. ठीक है, जो stage है, so that many people can come closer to the stage. They can see the artist from the closer view. Okay, so that is why the space which is getting narrow from the ending is a inviting space. Now we have openings, that is window. So we know the role of a window to provide us natural light, sunlight, ventilation, and a exterior view also. Okay. So there are multiple positions of a window. Like a window could be centered, off-centered. It could be grouped. It could be deep set. Okay. This is called deep set. It's called deep set. Okay. Then we could also have a skylight. We can play with the framing of the door, okay, the orientation, the shape of the window. Okay, we can also create in grouping. Okay, like if you see in this picture, there are random cutouts in the wall. Okay, if you see, we have a group window. We could also have a full cutout, but if you want a little bit of privacy, then we can create these kind of strips. Now at corner, if you see in this picture, just imagine if we close one side of the window. If we just close one side of the window, it is a solid brick wall. Then what difference the image will have? The room will have. What experience the room will have now?
It will be quite restricting.
Yes, quite restricting.
Um,
The very first thing, like the amount of natural light that you are getting inside a room will definitely reduced by half. Okay, right now the room is looking much bigger because of the window. The window is open, the room is looking more wide and more big. As soon as you restrict the wall, हमने वहाँ पे wall बना दी है, okay, then you will experience like the room makes you feel small. ठीक है, the room will feel small. Okay, and along with it, right now you're getting only this view. Okay, but if you are getting this L-shaped window, okay, you will have a almost 180-degree view of the outside. Okay, then we also have this sky skylight along with L-shaped window. Okay, it makes you feel like more open. It also gives you a feeling of like you can fly over here, you can go out of the building since you are getting a view of sky and everything. Now we can also have the opening between two planes. If you see in these pictures, you see like this kind of ventilation, the opening between the ceiling and the wall, the skylight. Okay. You can also have these kind of openings, like a vertical opening, for example, door, horizontal, for example, ventilators. Then 3/4 opening, we have windows. Then we can also have the window wall or the sliding door for balconies. Okay. So these are the examples. Like if you see in this picture, it is a picture of a museum. Here we have the display. Okay, here we have the display. Now the perspective of an architect is that they want natural light inside this hall, but they do not want people to get distracted. उनको एक exterior view ना मिले so that they will get distracted. Okay, so in that case we are introducing a skylight. This is how we can receive the ceiling height, sorry, daylight. Along with, we can also keep the focus of the visitor on the display area itself. Okay, so this is the use of the skylight or windows. Now organization, how we are organizing things. Okay, so very first thing, that is space within a space. If we have a very big hall, okay, and we want to divide it even for display, or we can create multiple rooms in a hall. For example, in commercial buildings, we got a hall. In that hall, we create glass partition for cabins, and rest of the area is for cubicles or the common working space. Okay, that is the example of space within a space. You might have designed this kind of space. Like in a space, we have the center area, that is the meeting room or conference room. Okay, these kind of designs we did in our colleges. Okay, so we can introduce any shape between inside any other shape. We can change the orientation of the shape. Okay, let's see an example. If you see in this picture, it is a rectangular gallery, and in rectangular gallery we have a circular display area. Okay, we can also have the same display on the wall itself, since if you want to create any attention, if you have a big room and you have the small display items, then we can create such kind of space. Here you see the displays in big halls. Then we have interlocking space, like a space within a space, or space is merging. Okay? Two different forms are come together and they are sharing a particular common area. Okay? So the very first probability is that they can share the common area equally. Okay? The very first thing, merge with one of the shape. The third thing, they can develop its own integrity. Okay? Like when we design any big projects like hospitals, hotels. Okay, so we got common space. We can call it courtyard also, public plaza also, or atrium also. Okay, so this is the example. Like we have a space shared equally. See, the same module is repeated multiple times in different orientation. Okay, now we have adjacent space. Okay, so right now you are sitting in a room and there is another room, and these two rooms are separated by a wall. Okay, this is how we can separate them. Second way, we can separate it with the help of a single partition wall. Third one, with the help of pole. Fourth one, with the help of change in level. Okay, if you have a very elongated hall, if you want to separate it, okay, we can define a level difference, a change in wall colors also. Like this we use in our dining and living room, the partitions wall that we use. Now we have a space linked by a common space. There's a common space. For example, in a traditional house, you have seen courtyards. Okay, there's a common courtyard, and there are other spaces. Now we have organization. First one is a centralized organization. This is the plan of Saint Basilica. If you see the plan, this whole plan is symmetrical. This is the entrance area or the entrance foyer. Just eliminate this area, and other than this area, the whole plan is symmetrical. Okay, there is a center. Along the center, we have each and everything. The center space takes hierarchy around which other spaces are placed. We can also plan spaces in linear form, linear organization. For example, in row houses, when we design row houses, we have linear houses. Okay, we can design such great buildings or apartments in linear forms. We can stack them. Okay, it doesn't mean linear means straight. It could be curve also. It could be segmented also. Then we have radial organization. So what happened in radial? We have a center, and along this center we have the concentric circles. Okay, repeat over here, same cheese. Okay, so this is the example of a prison, Movet cellular prison. Okay, so the central area work as the head office. Over here there will be the head officers, and these are the cells. These wings are the cells of the prisoners. Okay, so if there is any activity in this cell, the officer can reach over here in the same time. If there is activity over here, they can reach over here. Okay, so this is how they can supervise each and every cell. ये हर एक सेल को देख सकते हैं. Similarly, the aura will. Okay, aura will is also example of radial organization. When you have things in radial organization, it is easy to supervise them. Okay. Then we have cluster organization. If you see cities like Mumbai, Delhi, they are unplanned cities. Okay, whenever if you see the satellite view of these cities, they will be very irregular. Somewhere else you will see big plot size, somewhere else you will see small plot size, you will see the different orientation. Okay, so that is called cluster organization. It gives you a sense of history also. Whenever you see the city planning or the satellite view of any city, you can see the history. Like what was the history of that place. Either it is a very old city, it is a new city, it is a new settlement, with the help of its planning itself. Okay. Then we have grid organization. So when we talk about grid, okay, grid are a very strong geometry. Grid is a very strong geometry, and you think like it is very easy to play. If you do urban planning, okay, then you got a assignment like this, that you have to plan a city. This is the area of the land. Okay. So many people take the grid planning. They thought it is easy, but it is not easy. Working in geometry is very difficult. Okay. Geometry gives you a sense of discipline. Okay. It also give you, it also restrict you, that you cannot go beyond this limit. Okay. You cannot play in this shape. Okay. So it also restrict you. A strong geometry also restrict you. Okay. So Indus Valley Civilization is the very good example of grid organization. We have seen grid organization in Indus Valley Civilization. Now we have circulation. In a building, we have two kind of circulation: vertical circulation and horizontal circulation, from one floor to another, and in the floor itself. What do you think? How a circulation can make a building innovative, or a building can become a masterpiece with the help of its circulation only? Like how a circulation can make. What is the role of circulation? Can a big circulation in a building can make you feel more curious about your destination? If you have a very long pathway that lead to the main chamber, for example, in temples. Okay, if you go to Hindu temples, we have series of room, and in the ending we have the main room, that is the Garbhagriha, over where the main deity sits or main deity is placed. Okay, so when you go to temple for darshan, okay, for worship, you have to move, or you have to pass many rooms, like the Nritya Mandapa, Bhog Mandapa, okay, the entrance gate, and in the ending you got the main room, or the main puja room, that is the Garbhagriha. Okay, so let's start. The very first thing is the approach. How you are approaching a building. Like how you are approaching a building is very, very important. I think my screen is not visible. Just a minute. Okay. Approach. The very first is the frontal approach. You can directly access the building. From the road, you can directly access the building. It is very straight. There's nothing to hide. Okay. We can also make oblique entrance. Like the path that is led toward the building is not straight. It is not forward. It is little bit inclined. If you want to create some drama, if you have multiple view of the building, we can create such kind of mm, path. Okay, then we have the spiral path. Spiral. Okay, spiral doesn't mean always ramp. Okay, it could be in circulation way also. With the help of landscape, we can define this path. Then we have path-space relationship. Okay. For example, in hospitals we have a central corridor. Along that corridor we have lots of ICU room, general ward, doctor cabins, OPD. These rooms we have. Okay. Then we have a clear-cut, straight corridor. Why do we have a straight corridor? Why the path is not passing through any ward? Because we want a clear space so that if we have an emergency case, if we want to run the stretcher, so that nobody got disturbed. That is why we have a clear way. Okay, so this is called pass by space. Second, we have the pass through space. For example, in your home itself, okay, if you want to go in your bedroom, we have to pass through living room, dining room, okay, or might be kitchen also, and then you are going inside your bedroom. Okay, so there are multiple rooms or multiple areas in between your path. Okay, the path is going from that room, inside that room. Okay, so this is called pass through space. As you can see in this picture, in this exhibition we have the central path, then we have a wall, might be you can go from here or here. Okay, so this is called pass through space. Then we have the terminate in space. Okay, so we have the central axis or the central path, and our destination is in the ending. Okay, so this is called terminating space. For example, in Taj Mahal, if you want to visit Taj Mahal, if you go inside the Taj Mahal, then we have to pass the whole Charbagh garden. After passing the Charbagh garden, we go to Taj Mahal. This is an example of museum from Punjab. Okay, so it is a this long is the only the path. This is how you will approach this hall. Over here you will be checked by your ticket and everything. Then you will go in the galleries. You see these series of uh, galleries. Okay. So when a visitor pass through this path, this bridge, okay, he will have multiple view of the building. Okay, this bridge helps visitor to create curiosity, to generate a curiosity in a person. That's why designing a good approach through landscape or inside a building is very important. Then we have the last thing, that is proportion. So we have an area of 400 square feet. In 400 square feet, how many rectangles are possible? There are so many rectangles that we can make which have the area of 400 square feet. So there are four examples like 20 by 20, 18 by 22, 16 by 24, 18 by 50. So now I will ask which room is the perfect room for your bedroom. If you are designing a bedroom, which room will be more functional, more good?
I think the 16 by 24 one.
Okay, 16 by 24. Why we are not preferring a room of 20 by 20 or 88 by 50?
8 by 50 would be, I mean, it's too linear and not so sure how it would be. I mean, it would feel too congested. And like,
Like instead of a bedroom, it will make you feel like a corridor. You're walking in a
yeah,
corridor.
yeah,
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 so it is very elongated. Okay, so
yeah.
here we have proportion. Okay, we see the proportion like this is 8, this is 50. Okay, so this is the proportion of length and width. Okay, generally we prefer a room with 2:3 ratio or 1:2 ratio. These are the these are some ratios that we always prefer. They are you have listened the golden ratio. the golden ratio? Do anyone
Yeah.
know? Okay. So it is a perfect room size. It tell you the perfect size of the room, even for elevation, for your bedroom, for classroom. Okay. So there are three kind of proportion: bulk proportion, young proportion, and light proportion. If you see in this building, here we see these columns look fragile as compared to the top. Okay, if you see the Villa Savoy, the very famous building, you see the columns are very fragile. It seems like how the column will take the load of the building, the load of the first floor. Can you feel the same thing? Do you also think like the columns looks very fragile?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes.
It feels fragile, but I think the number of
Engineer,
columns make it sturdy.
yeah. When we talk about that thing in terms of mm, stability, it is stable. Okay, but in visually it looks fragile. Okay, then we have this example. Here you see the columns look balanced as compared to the top. Okay, now we see this picture. The columns look over reinforced. If you over reinforce the column, they will look like this. Like this much of enforcement is not required. Okay. So now imagine this building. If you just change the material of these walls, right now the walls are made up in concrete. Okay, so we are sure like they will take the um load of the roof. As soon as you change the material, now imagine these walls are made up in glass. These walls are made up in glass. So your perception for this building will got changed definitely. Like the glass is a fragile material, it is not that much strong. Okay, so material also give you the feeling of stability, strength, fragile, weak, hollow, solid. Okay, so we can also define the strength of the building with the help of material also, not only in terms of form, with the help of material also. Some material give you a feeling of strength, some material give you a feeling of weakness. Okay. Then we have the concept of stability. When we talk about the cantilever, when if the cantilever is in flat slab, then somewhere else we are sure like it is stable. But as soon as we have an inclined cantilever, it looks very unstable. And to uh, solve this problem, we introduce one more column. As soon as we introduce one more column, the condition looks more stable. Okay. Then these are some proportions that we prefer. Like I was talking about golden ratio. Okay, 1 is to 1.4 is the golden ratio. Then 3 is to 4, 2 is to 3, 3 is to 5. Okay, 1 is to 2. These are some ideal ratio that we should use in our plannings. Then, as I was talking about the human scale. Now imagine you have a hall of 50 feet by 50 feet. You have a hall of 50 feet by 50 feet, and the ceiling height is 10 feet. The hall will look like something like this, isn't it? The hall will feel like this, looking very compressed. The ceiling is compressing your head. It will feel like this. Okay. But now same hall is have the ceiling height of 15 feet. Will it look more comfortable or 18 feet? Okay. So along with the proportion of the room, if your room is too large, it is more than 20 feet. If the span is more than 20 foot, then we have to increase the ceiling height also, so that the room should not look much compressed. Then if you see in this picture, we can simply count the number of floors. Why? Because of these windows. Now imagine if this building do not have the windows, they have only solid structure, then we cannot assume the number of floors. Okay. So with the help of these elements like door, window, openings, we can also have a rough estimation of the number of stories, number of floors in a building. There are two kind of scale, mechanical scale and visual scale. So in mechanical scale, we measure each and everything of a window with respect to a element, like it could be door, it could be window. But when we talk about the visual scale, okay, so we compare the building height or the building proportion with the help with compared to human body. Then it is a very famous building, that is a Jewish museum in Berlin. Okay, so it is a storytelling architecture. The purpose of this building is to depict the story of Jewish community without any display, without any picture, without any write-up. Can you imagine a museum which do not have such boring artifacts or collection of goods, photographs, write-up? Can you imagine a museum? Because as many as museum we know, in each and every museum there are a collection of pictures, paintings, artifacts, write-ups. So this was a very unique museum in which, with the help of architecture, the architect depicted the whole story of Jewish community. If you see the outer form of the building, it is very distorted, and this distorted form gives you the feeling of confusion. They also give you the feeling of lost, like you lost in a space. Okay, they also makes you feel uncomfortable. Okay. So if you see over here the proportion, the width, if you see the width of this gallery and the height of this gallery, the proportion is very, very distorted. Yes or no? Does it feels like you got stuck in a bell if you see this kind of proportion? So in this masterpiece, the architect used multiple proportions, like the width of the room, the height of the room, okay, the shapes of the room, and with the help of these things, the architect created the whole story. Okay, must visit or must just see the building tour on YouTube. It is a very interesting museum. Then we have another picture. If you see this curved ramp, okay, with the help of this curved ramp itself, we can assume the grandness of the building. Okay. Now I was talking about the symbolism. Okay. So in symbolism, some people also do these kind of things. Like you're designing a building for a musician. So simply you make a whole instrument, like a piano and a guitar. Okay. You're designing a footwear, a building in the shape of footwear. So I want to ask you, there are two theories, like form follow function and function follow form. So according to you, which is the best thing? What we should do? Like a function follow form or a form follow function? What do you follow? And why? Can anyone answer me? What do you follow? Form follow function or function follow form?
Here, I think form is following function.
Yeah,
I
form
mean,
is
sorry.
following here.
Yeah, the form is done first, I think, and then around the form, the function is.
Yeah, definitely, if you see in this picture. So, but there are also some disadvantages. Okay, I'm not saying like it is a wrong. that we should do form follow function, but make sure when we talk about the practical things, okay, when we talk about psychology, if a building have lots of negative space, then it is not an ideal building. Okay, the building might be look very good, or when we talk about aesthetics, aesthetically the building might be looking very crazy from outside. Okay, but as an architect, we also must consider some points like functionality, negative space, maximum utilization of the space. Okay, that's why we have multiple maximum buildings in the form of cube and cuboid. हर जगह box 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 दिखते हैं in your city. Okay, if you visit any city, you will find the building in the shape of square or rectangular, because you can utilize each and every inch in that condition. Okay. So before designing any building, keep in mind some points like functionality, services. Okay. So these are some book recommendations from my side. The very good book. This is the first one and this is the second one. These two books are very good. These are my personal recommendation. And after that, we have some other books. The Architecture of Happiness. In this book, you will find many small talks about multiple buildings. Okay. Then if you want to learn something more about vernacular architecture, then you can read the State of Indian Architecture. Okay. Don't worry, you all will get the PPT, this PPT, along with the link for the certificate. Okay. You will also got the certificate for this session. Then if you are reading urban planning or urban designing, then a pattern language is a very good book for you. And if you want to learn more about the building forms and the space, okay, then Deketching is a good book. Then if you are an interior designer or a product designer, then these two books for you. Okay. So this was my research paper that had been published in a journal, that is the International Journal of Architecture Planning. Okay. So my paper had been published on this topic. So this was the ending of our session. Now you all are free to ask your doubts. Is there anyone who want to ask any doubt?
Yeah.
Raksha, please.
I have two questions, like basic questions actually. Like one thing is like like how like actually we had also studied about these even in architecture college as well, but somewhere it does not translate into the design that we are doing in the office. Like I don't know how, but like it just happens like that. And so many I mean now I just refreshed all these topics, refreshed, and like sometimes you just forget about it as well. So is there a way we can?
You're asking like how we can apply these things in our day-to-day life, like in our office work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very first thing that I was talking about proportions. Okay, the proportion of the room is very important. If you go through the very good planning, okay, like a planning of Bharat Bhavan. Bharat Bhavan is a very good example of a very simple planning, but with a great circulation. Okay, so if you observe this planning, you will see it is a whole play of proportions only and a good circulation design. Okay, so there is nothing rocket science when we talk about the human psychology and architecture. Everything is based on proportion and principle of design only. ठीक है, आप कोई भी डिजाइन देखोगे, if you take any design or any work from any architect, okay, and you will when you will break that, you will find the multiple design principle in that thing. Okay, so here I was talking about proportions. I told you how to use proportions, like हमें अपने rooms का proportion क्या रखना है. Okay, and what are the proportions that we should not take. Even if you have, then how to resolve it. I have told you some points, like change in levels with some partition wall, some perforated wall. Okay, so we should avoid elongated room that looks like corridor. Okay, we should choose the correct position of opening along with the furniture layouts. Okay, so this is how we apply. I'm also a practicing architect. Okay, I also apply these things. Like if we take a cantilever in our elevation, that definitely create a wow factor in our design. Okay, so these are the things that we apply. There is nothing rocket science. It's only the proportions and principle of design. Simple. If you use them wisely, if you use them wisely, then you will achieve a great design. Any other question?
Yeah, okay.
Nehal, okay. You can also write your questions in chat box also. Please ask doubts.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, what was your research paper?
My research paper was only this thing, like how built environment and shape form affect us. Like I was talking about the elongated space, narrow space, proportions, okay, curve, straight line. That was the whole essence of the uh, research paper.
और मैम एक और चीज पूछनी थी. सो
Yeah.
बेसिकली मैम मैं मास्टर्स कर रही हूँ आर्कियोलॉजी में. आई एम इन सेकेंड ईयर एंड
Okay.
मैम उसमें हम म्यूजियोलॉजी के बारे में भी सीखते हैं, विच इज म्यूजियम बनाना, उसका
हाँ.
कलेक्शन मैनेज करना एंड स्टफ. तो उसमें ना
हाँ.
आर्किटेक्चर भी आता है कि मैम हमें ये चीज पढ़ाई गई है कि म्यूजियम का आर्किटेक्चर पीपल फ्रेंडली होना चाहिए और
हाँ.
उनको कंफर्टेबल लगना चाहिए. तो वो चीज मुझे कभी समझ नहीं आई कि उनको फ्रेंडली कैसे लगेगा आर्किटेक्चर
हाँ.
में. जैसे बहुत ग्रैंडियर बिल्डिंग्स होती हैं, तो क्या वो फ्रेंडली नहीं होती हैं, या क्या वो ध्यान खींच लेती है लोगों का अपना? उसमें क्या होता है?
देखो दो चीजें होती हैं. लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर एक इंसान बहुत छोटी प्लेस से आया है, फ्रॉम अ वेरी स्मॉल प्लेस, उसने कभी इतनी ग्रेट बिल्डिंग्स नहीं देखी जहाँ पे 2-3 एट्रियम हो, वहाँ का सीलिंग हाइट इतनी बड़ी हो, बहुत ग्रैंड बिल्डिंग्स हो, तो वहाँ पे लोग कनेक्ट नहीं कर पाते हैं. एक चीज ये होता है, ठीक है. लेकिन और एक कंडीशन क्या होता है कि कोई मेट्रो सिटी का इंसान है और हमने कोई वर्नाकुलर आर्किटेक्चर से इंस्पायर होकर या किसी कम्युनिटी से इंस्पायर होकर हमने कोई म्यूजियम बनाया है, ठीक है. तो हो सकता है जो मेट्रो सिटी वाला इंसान है वो उस चीज़ से कनेक्ट नहीं कर पा रहा हो, ठीक है. तो म्यूजियम में सबसे स्ट्रॉन्ग चीज़ जो होनी चाहिए वो है सर्कुलेशन, ठीक है. जब हम सर्कुलेशन की बात करते हैं तो म्यूजियम में सर्कुलेशन इस तरीके से डिजाइन होना चाहिए कि जो हम अपने फुटफॉल है, जो हम अपने फुटप्रिंट्स है ना, वो हम दोबारा रिपीट ना करें. सर्कुलेशन ऐसे होना चाहिए. और सर्कुलेशन कभी भी ना बहुत ज़्यादा लंबा नहीं होना चाहिए. जैसे मैं बात कर रही थी कि बहुत ज़्यादा बड़े बड़े रूम्स नहीं होने चाहिए उसमें, या बहुत बड़े बड़े कॉरिडोर्स नहीं होना चाहिए. उससे साइकोलॉजी क्या बिल्ड होती है कि अभी मुझे इतना सारा वॉक करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है. तो हम उसमें क्या करते हैं कि हम रूम्स को डिवाइड करते हैं मल्टीपल गैलरीज में, ठीक है. हमने छोटी छोटी गैलरीज बनाई, उसमें हमने इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ें रखी जो हम एग्जीबिशन करते हैं. हमने हो सकता है उसमें एक सेंटर पीस रखा हो. फिर जो बड़ा रूम है उसमें हमने बीच में एक वॉल बना दी हो, तो ताकि लोगों को ये ना लगे कि अभी मेरे को इतना एरिया और कवर करना है. जनरली म्यूजियम में क्या साइकोलॉजी रहती है कि यहाँ पे 5 गैलरीज हैं, अभी तो मैं पहली गैलरी में और अभी और कितना चलना पड़ेगा, ठीक है. तो वो इंटरेस्ट क्रिएट करने के लिए हम चीज़ों को छोटी छोटी चीज़ में डिवाइड करते हैं ताकि उनको पता ही ना चले कि वो कितनी देर से चल रहे हैं और वो बोर ना हो और वो टायर्ड ना हो. ये साइकोलॉजी रहती है म्यूजियम में. तो म्यूजियम का जो आर्किटेक्चर है उसको अगर आपको थोड़ा और ऑब्जर्व करना है, आई कैन सजेस्ट यू सम गुड केस स्टडीज, ठीक है. एक सबसे अच्छी केस स्टडीज है दैट इज ट्राइबल म्यूजियम इन भोपाल। ठीक है, वो बहुत अच्छा म्यूजियम है। उसमें सर्कुलेशन ना लेवल्स में है। आप फर्स्ट फ्लोर पे जाते हो फिर ग्राउंड फ्लोर पे आ जाते हो, कॉन्टूर्स में है वो साइट, बट आपको पता ही नहीं चलता कि आपने कब पूरी बिल्डिंग कवर कर ली है, बिकॉज ऑफ इट्स सर्कुलेशन। हमने उसमें बीच बीच में जो स्पेसेस इंट्रोड्यूस करे हैं, ठीक है, बीच में एक कोर्टयार्ड है, एक गार्डन एरिया है, एक छोटा सा लेक है। तो हम जो इंटरेस्टिंग पब्लिक स्पेस जो होते हैं, हम जो इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं, पब्लिक प्लाजा हुए, पब्लिक गैदरिंग वाले स्पेस हुए, तो वो लोगों की अटेंशन खींचती है, लोगों को थोड़ा और ओपन फील कराती है। जैसे आप कंटिन्यू अगर एक गैलरी में मूव कर रहे हो, इनसाइड रूम्स रूम्स रूम्स, ठीक है, कंटिन्यूस आप क्लोज एरिया में मूव कर रहे हो तो आप डेफिनेटली सफोकेटिंग और बोर फील करते हो। लेकिन अगर हम ब्रेकआउट स्पेस इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं, जैसे हमने गैलरी है, फिर उसके बीच में एक ब्रेकआउट स्पेस है लाइक अ कोर्टयार्ड, या कोई एक वाटर फीचर हो गया, या एक कोई रेस्टिंग एरिया हो गया, सिटिंग एरिया हो गया, ठीक है, हो सकता है हमने वहाँ पे एक वॉशरूम भी इंट्रोड्यूस कर दी, ड्रिंकिंग वाटर इंट्रोड्यूस कर दिया, और कुछ लाइक अ सेंटर ट्री है वहाँ पे, या फाउंटेन, या कुछ शो पीस है। तो एक वो ब्रेक स्पेस होता है, ब्रेकआउट स्पेस होता है। फिर उसके बाद हमने फिर से एग्जीबिशन चालू कर दी। सो दिस इज हाउ वी टॉक अबाउट द आर्किटेक्चर इन म्यूजियम्स। आई थिंक यू गॉट योर आंसर।
यस मैम, थैंक यू मैम। ऐसे ही लास्ट टाइम आई हैव विजिटेड साइंस म्यूजियम, नेशनल साइंस सेंटर इन दिल्ली। तो जैसे
ओके।
मैम आप बता रहे हैं कि एक रिलीफ सेंटर होता है, उनकी लोगों को ब्रेक लेने का टाइम मिल जाए और फिर वो अपनी जर्नी कंटिन्यू करते हैं घूमने
हाँ
की। तो मैम मुझे साइंस सेंटर में ऐसा लगा कि कोई रिलीफ एरिया नहीं है, वो वहां पे बहुत कंफ्यूजिंग लग रहा था। उन्होंने मतलब एक गैलरी से दूसरी गैलरी में बस ऐसे जाते जा रहे हैं। तो
हाँ,
मैम इसको ऐसे कह सकते हैं कि मैम पुअर मैनेजमेंट है या फिर बिल्डिंग
पूरा
ठीक से नहीं बनाई गई है?
पूरा आर्किटेक्चर बोल सकते हैं हम इसको।
पुअर
And there
आर्किटेक्ट।
are, yeah, even there are some buildings like जो मैं नेशनल म्यूजियम के जो जूश म्यूजियम की जो मैं बात कर रही हूँ, मस्ट विजिट इफ यू आर एन आर्कोलॉजिस्ट, ठीक है। तो आप वो जरूर उसका ना यूट्यूब पे ट्यूटोरियल देखना उसका पूरा। तो उसमें है, जो पूरी बिल्डिंग है उसमें कहीं पे भी ना ब्रेकआउट स्पेस है ही नहीं, ठीक है, उसमें कहीं पे भी कोई कलेक्शन है ही नहीं। म्यूजियम में जनरली कलेक्शंस होता है, उस पूरी बिल्डिंग में कहीं कोई कलेक्शन नहीं है। क्यों? क्योंकि आर्किटेक्ट का जो मिशन था वो ये था कि थ्रू बिल्डिंग इटसेल्फ लोगों को वो चीज फील हो, वो जो पेन है कि उतने टाइम तक नाजीज के अंडर में थे, कितना सफोकेशन था, कितना ओवर एक्सप्लॉयटेशन था, ठीक है। तो आर्किटेक्ट ने जो पब्लिक है उसको पूरा कैप्चर करा है, पब्लिक को कैप्चर करा है बिल्डिंग के इनसाइड, कि आप इस बिल्डिंग में 2-3 घंटे रहो और वो फीलिंग, जो फीलिंग थी ना, जो जिस कम्युनिटी के ने देखी थी, वो फील कराना चाहता था आर्किटेक्ट। ओके, सो वो बहुत अच्छा एग्जाम्पल है। मस्ट हैव अ डीप स्टडी ऑन दैट म्यूजियम।
ओके मैम, थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू। इवन उसमें एक और चीज़ है, आई वुड लाइक टू मेंशन, कि उसमें कोई भी जो विंडो है वो अपने आई लेवल पे नहीं है। देयर इज नो विंडो एट ह्यूमन आई लेवल, सो दैट जो आपका कांटेक्ट है आउटसाइड से, आउटसाइड वर्ल्ड से जो आपका कांटेक्ट है वो टोटली ब्रेक हो जाता है। यू स्टार्ट फीलिंग अलोन, बहुत डिप्रेसिंग फील आता है उस म्यूजियम में। एंड इट वॉज अ अवार्ड विनिंग म्यूजियम।
Ma'am, can you repeat the name of the museum?
Jewish Museum in Berlin. Jewish Museum in Berlin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, if you want to read or know more about this architecture and psychology relation, ma'am, like, is there anything, any study or anything that we can to know like more deeper?
You're asking for book suggestions?
Anything, ma'am, like, or any videos or anything, just to get more in depth understanding.
I will suggest books. Like I have suggested some books like Form, Function, and Design. Okay.
Hmm.
So there is no any particular book that is written only on human psychology, and there are some books, but you will not find a whole content in a single book. Okay,
Hmm.
you will
Okay.
find multiple phase of architecture, like in vernacular architecture, in modern architecture. Okay, there are so four topics majorly when we talk about architecture and human psychology. form, function, color, and light. These are the 4 things. Okay. So color and light is totally a different topic. It is a very, very vast topic. How we are lighting our building. Okay. It is a different topic. You can find so many books on lighting. Okay. Color psychology are also a very vast topic. Okay. But in architecturally, majorly we talk on form and space. Okay. So form, function, and design is a very good book in which you can learn about lots of historical things. Okay, historical arrangements, like why do they have these kind of gateway? Okay, why people were live like this? Okay, and a human being never walk in a straight line. Okay, so you can find so many things. But if you read Place of Soul, okay, in Place of Soul you will find different uh, topics related to architecture, like uh, in vernacular architecture or in mud houses, how curve work, okay, how a river forms its natural curve. These kind of things you will find in this book. Similarly, in Architecture of Happiness, you will find multiple stories, like small stories of different buildings, of modern buildings. Okay, like Villa Savoy, this building, that building, of famous architects you will find. Okay, so you have to read a lot if you want to learn in depth.
Okay.
And in decaying, you will find the importance of each and every shape, even the arrangement. If my room having the L-shaped window, if my room is having L-shaped opening, then what effect it will have, like how the circulation will change, and that circulation, what effect that circulation will have on my room. Okay, so you have to read multiple books because in a single book you cannot incorporate each and everything. But if you want to just a small glimpse, if you want to a small idea, then you can read only one book. That's enough.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Any other doubt? Okay, so can we finish this session? Okay, so we are finishing the session. Thank you everyone for listening, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.